Welcome to Agrabah. Ghouls and goddesses, beware the sand beneath you. My apology, ghouls. We're in the wrong place. Little change of scenery. Alright, folks. My turn is over. Now for your review.
Thank you, Mr. Gravekeeper. So the game starts out as you would figure. In Agrabah. The land of Aladdin. The market. Apples thrown everywhere. Armageddon of an untold scale. And fire on the ground, because obviously. I mean, what's Agrabah without fire or camels laying on the ground spitting at people? The camels spit projectiles so powerfully that they can shatter time. Al has a lot of trouble walking and running around. The sword isn't helping. You know, just a lot of issues for Al. Well, thank you, Mr. Gravekeeper. So the game starts out as you would figure. In Agrabah. The land of Aladdin. The market. Apples thrown everywhere. Armageddon of an untold scale. And fire on the ground, because obviously. I mean, what's Agrabah without fire or camels laying on the ground spitting at people? The camels spit projectiles so powerfully that they can shatter time. Al has a lot of trouble walking and running around. The sword isn't helping. You know, just a lot of issues for Al. The platforming in this game is where it's really hard. For your sensibilities have changed over time, but the music is so good. I mean, the transition between music and songs is really well done. It's a masterpiece. The main weapon in this game is the apples. They give you this sword, but the sword doesn't really work on much of anything. Maybe one boss out of all of them. But the sword is useless. It shouldn't even be there. It doesn't matter. These levels are long and intricate. They take time. There's not a lot of clues on where you're supposed to go. It's a product of its time more than anything else. Now, the first level is especially frustrating, because you're trying to get a feel for the game and the controls and all this. The guards have so many different weapons. The enemy type doesn't change, thankfully, throughout the game all that much. But the final boss is Iago on this, wheel, and then you really realize how futile this stupid sword is. Literally, they could have given you the dildo bat from Saints Row and you would have been fine. Now, speeding things up and moving on, as you know, it does follow the path of the story to an extent, but liberties are taken here and there to make the game more fun. But the platforming, oh god, the platforming. The platforming in this game is so infuriating, even in Stage 1. As you get into Stage 2, it's worse. If you can fathom that, it gets worse. Now, this thing comes up where you have this chance that the genie will grant you a wish. These wishes are loaded, and every fucking time Jafar pops up, you have to listen to his laugh. Oh, I wanted to choke him. Now, beating the level's not the hard part. No. You're going to be begging for lives this entire game. The health is random at best. They give you a lot of apples, which is great, but the apples are thrown at this arc like Friday the 13th. And it is a annoying mistress to play with, and will cost you dearly as the game goes on, with no mercy for anyone. Now, the mini-games are varied into two. You get one where Jafar laughs at you cynically and just goes, I'm going to fuck over everything you love and dream about. And then you get Abu, the most useless thing on earth. Trying to do the Abu stage is like a black hole. You're never going to get it down perfectly, and eventually the game just goes, oh, fuck you, you're living too long. Die! Breathtakingly beautiful for its rendition. At this time period, it was really hard to get vocals or anything on, so the music is good, like Donkey Kong Country good. And then, the platforming, while frustrating, is intuitive. The jump's slow, yes, but if you look into it more and look at the color design, some thought went into this. It's a game. So, the game continues, you go through the second stage, and everything seems alright. It's nice, it's colorful, it's different than the first stage. Aladdin's arc still sucks. This dinky sword you have still doesn't do much. It has a shitty range, which almost begs you to get hit. And then, on top of that, you have the platform. Which again, it is intuitive, but the platforming is unforgiving. Now, it's not as unforgiving as Silver Surfer, I grant you. But it is unforgiving, nonetheless. This platforming will have you begging for a life down the road. And the things are spread out so much that you're not going to get them. You'll be playing this game and going, please let me have a little more HP. Please let me have HP. Now, the game does allow you to cheat in a way that makes it easier. You can rewind. This rewind function was not there when I was younger, as a kid. So I'm basing this on much of my childhood experience. So you have to understand, while this rewind function is there, it will not save you. When you're dead, you're dead. That's the end of it. Now, palm trees in the desert. Interesting. Snake wearing a turban who's run away from Robin Hood. Again, not sure how I feel about that, but you know, the Sultan's goons are everywhere, because apparently the Sultan doesn't need his Imperial guards in the palace anymore. They can just roam wherever they want and go out and chase down people and partner up with snakes, Iago, demons, ghosts, whatever have you. Because these are your enemies in this game. These are the things that are hunting you down like a dog till the end of the game. And it doesn't get any better from here. You think, oh, I can win. Everything will be okay. No, it won't. Everything will not be okay. Everything will be worse than what you expect, and will go longer and longer and longer. Now, the game continues at this breakneck pace. It's not long. The game's probably 4 or 5 hours long, which by today's standards and kids these days wouldn't even understand that that was normal in the old days. That was a level's length. That was what your level came down to. Your level would only be so long, and then that was it. That was all you had. That was the game. I mean, good lord. Games didn't get long until Super Mario, and even then, Super Mario could be beaten in a bit of time. Disney made very difficult games, but very colorful and promising games. They weren't long. They used platforming, they had some ideas and innovative concepts here and there, but it was not, like, genre-defining. You won't see this as, like, Mario, so don't expect Mario level of controls. Good God, I wish I was playing Mario. Now, the ruins belong very well in this setting, and again, I had a lot of difficulty with this game, because my mechanics and change of pace have come over the years very gradually. These type of games are just not there anymore. Like, you can't compare this to Dark Souls, because Dark Souls is more forgiving. Like, if I went and said, here, let's play Silver Surfer, one-hit death, good luck, here's Dark Souls. Dark Souls is at least forgiving. It will give you a chance to recover. Not Aladdin. No, no, no. Aladdin is one of those games with certain mechanics that will one-hit kill you. No chances for revival, nothing. Now keep in mind, there is a cheat in the game to rewind it still. But this does not take away from the fact that you will die. And you will die often. Begging for like a restart. I had to restart this game 6-7 times before I got any good at it. And you have no idea how maddening that is. To get halfway through the stage, have no idea where you're going, just trying to progress it and pray to God. At least Sonic the Hedgehog gave you a finger pointing a direction. No, this one's just like, good luck. Hell, even Mario told you go right. But no, not Aladdin. Aladdin was like, you don't deserve directions. I'm Prince Ali Abdul Jababa. So, let's continue with the next portion. Now, the game, while I will say bad things about it, and I will tell you that it has its problems, it is a product of the 90s. Games in the 90s were tests. They were all tests to see how the software worked. It wasn't meant to be this groundbreaking, innovative thing. It wasn't an LJN game. This wasn't made by laughing, joking numbnuts. This wasn't made by characters like Michael Doesn't Give a Fuck. It was made for kids, and it was unforgiving. This was a lot of games in that time period. The Super Nintendo had many, many games that did not allow forgiveness. So the idea that Demon Souls and Dark Souls came along and rewrote this trend isn't true. So you have to understand, coming in, this is what you should expect. A difficulty curve unlike anything else. It's like going back and playing classic Mega Man. It's a good game for the time period it's in. Now, due to our gaming sensibilities that have changed so drastically over time, it's something you're not prepared for. You are ill-prepared for this journey. Aladdin and his mechanics are very similar to Friday the 13th. It has platforming and it does give you the sword, but those apples are your lifeline. They are the only thing keeping you alive, and the arc they are thrown in makes it very difficult later on. This game gets harder and more sadistic as you play it, with the options becoming less clear and it getting easier and easier to get lost. I found myself personally playing so long, getting lost on all this footage, trying to find some way to get around certain points in the game. The Cave of Wonders was essentially me lost for 40 to 50 minutes. And then, let's not even get started on the escape. The fucking infamous escape with the carpet, where you're dodging shit and it's a one-hit death. Like, we needed flashbacks to Silver Surfer. Like, we didn't have enough childhood trauma with that. But no, let's fucking add this to it. Let's make it one-hit deaths, and let's make the genie point up and down as in to go, oh, I don't know which one it is. Good fucking luck. No, he's telling you something's coming in the middle. Great. Thanks, genie. I needed that, like, 20 minutes ago. Not now, but, 20 minutes ago. Would have been nice. No. So we move on from this, and it does not stop. It will not stop. It continues this mind-boggling process of, like, gameplay, of music looping. And then, eventually you kind of adapt to it. You adapt to the shittiness, as the AVGN would say. You get better at the garbage you are playing. That is how it is. Our senses hone themselves. They sharpen like a knife. And then we pierce the veil that this game has put up. So, anyone that's made it this far, I want to say thank you for watching this. This has been a test of an idea that I had for something. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. And at this point, I'm not going to talk about the game much more. I'm going to let the game continue and play through. And you guys can formulate your own opinions, whether you like it or dislike it. Now, I've cut the footage down quite a bit, so you won't see as much as I had to. Thank your lucky stars. But on my channel, we're going to be doing something called Burial or Revival. Now, the question comes down to, does Aladdin deserve to be buried or revived? The platforming's good. And if the movie scene can get new movies like Aladdin, Cinderella, and all that, why can't Disney make new games like this? Why can't they make the platforming genre come back, The genre's alive and well. We've seen it do very well in the markets. Cuphead, things like that have come out. So I think, in all honesty, that there is an possibility for this game to be revived. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one Revival. Because Aladdin, while it is frustrating, it's the good frustrating. The kind of frustrating that you want in a game. You want that challenge. It's not like Silver Surfer. It's not like Jekyll and Hyde. It's not one of these games where the frustration is there because the game developers just wanted to be assholes. You assholes. But no. Here, the game is in pure challenge for you, your fingers, and everything in between. It comes down to how much you want to put in. Are you willing to put in the effort and try to beat this game? Are you willing to take it on the chin each time and just get better and better and better? I probably died on this game more times than I've died in Dark Souls over the years combined. And that just shows how sloppy my mechanics have become at these type of games. And I think that's a shame. I think we should go back to that era and bring it back. The AVGN often says that his job is to take people back to the past. And I think he's right. I think the past is amazing for games. And all credit goes to him on this. He inspired the idea that we should try and look at the past to see what was done right and revive it, not bury it. We bury the shitty games, we revive the good games. That is what DBM Nerdcraft is about. We are going to bury the shitty games that nobody likes, we'll give you a review on them, and we'll give you our thoughts. And we'll talk about it. And I open welcome discourse in my comments about this. If you don't like this, that's fine. This is an experiment. It can be refined or it can be changed. The idea is here. The ball is in your court now. You guys are the audience. The audience, once upon a time, had the power over everything. It should be that way again. You, the people, can vote, like, dislike. Tell me what you think. Tell me if this is an idea that you can see gaining traction. If we can revive the good games. We will cover games that other people have done. AVGN, I've mentioned him hundreds of times already in this video. And yes, I exaggerate for effect. But all credit due to him, this is something that should happen. These games deserve a revival. And so do the indie developers who are making games. Markiplier plays them constantly. I've seen him on his stream. I show shout out to him in this. Because the idea is to revive not only the indie scene of developing games and bring it up as best you can. The other idea is that if we love something, we have to give back to it. I love video games. I've loved video games for all my life. I've played them since I was a wee tot. Now, at the end of it all, I really leave it up to you. Do you guys think this game deserves a burial? Just because of some of the things I mentioned? Some of the difficulty you're seeing? Or does it deserve the revival? An impassioned flame to come again and brighten people's lives? Aladdin was a Disney hit. Aladdin, The Lion King. So many good games that we could play again. Where's our Lilo and Stitch game? Where's the other games that Disney could have made? There are hundreds of open genres that we could have done here. And now, I leave you guys with this. Buried or revived? You decide.